As you know, Adams and Butler are specialists for Ireland and the UK and also Africa. And ironically, the one partner that's a great fit and match with is Red Carnation Hotels. So everyone knows we work very closely with Ashford Castle and the UK collection. But what you probably don't realise is they have amazing properties. Some of you might know some of them, but not all of them. Four fantastic properties in their African portfolio. So we're delighted today that we're going to focus on them. And we have Sally Gray and Michael Neal as well, who are based in Africa. And they're going to tell us about those four properties. And Michael is going to run around the 12 Apostles as well to give us a bird's eye view and an on the ground feel for what clients will experience when they're there. So we're going to talk about 12 Apostles first, which is just in Cape Town, and then Kishra, Botswana, Oyster Box in Durban, and Bushman's Kloof. And I was absolutely blown away with both Kishra and Bushman's Kloof recently, well, last year, it seems not that long ago. So it'd be great to hear about them. So Sally, how would, first of all, very welcome. And how would you like to do this? Should we, will you tell us maybe a little bit about 12 Apostles, and then we run over to Michael and we go back then to the 12 Apostles again?
I certainly will. I know Mike is waiting. So welcome everybody, and thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Siobhan, for this incredible opportunity to showcase our four properties in the Southern Africa region. And the 12 Apostles obviously is in one of the most beautiful cities of the world. And it is where I'm sitting at the moment. If I look to my right-hand side, the sun is about to plop into the ocean right outside our presidential suite where I am. So we are in the Table Mountain Nature Reserve, and with a marine reserve in front of us. And I can see Michael Nell. Michael is our managing director for the Southern Africa properties. So he's got his phone and he's going to walk around. So I'm going to get him to showcase the 12 Apostles. So Mike, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sally. So we were just talking about the presidential suite. So Sally is inside there at the moment. So I'm going to come back to her in a second. But I wanted to show you, as we walk through the corridors of the hotel, we're going to go to our main dining area, and I wanted to show you some of the views that we have in and around the hotel. As we go through, you'll see lots of art all over the corridors of the hotel. The Tollman family, our owners, are obviously avid arts lovers. So everywhere we have lots of African artists plotted all over the hotel, including the bedrooms itself. And then you can see also, as I'm walking through here, on the carpet, this is a Paul Smith design carpets at the hotel. Right. Let me know if I'm going too fast and anybody's getting dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
It's good so far.
This area over here, we're going to pass one of the two restaurants that we have. This is the Cafe Grill. It's our informal restaurants. Salads, burgers, anything lighter to eat. And then into the main area of the hotel. If I go downstairs here, this is the Azure restaurant. This is where we do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So as we walk through here, I can just give you a nice pan of what the restaurant looks like. We're obviously setting up for dinner. Oh, that side. And then what people are really coming to the 12 Apostles for is our beautiful views overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. And if I pan around this beautiful deck, there at the back there, that's Lion's Head, a very well-known mountain in Cape Town. And if I go around the side here, just above the hotel there, that's the Table Mountain Nature Reserve. And Table Mountain is just under that little blanket that is forming over Table Mountain at the moment. And these are the 12 Apostles Mountains behind us. So that's where the hotel gets its name from. And if I go right back this side, just quickly to show you where the pool area is. There's one of two pools. This is the one in the front. And then there's another rock pool at the back of the hotel. So a couple of guests lying around there, but gives you a good idea of what the guests, what their view is. Like Sally said, the sun is about to go down on that side in about a half an hour's time. And that's all for our guests to enjoy.
Fantastic.
So I'm going to make my way.
Sense of place.
I'll make my way back to the presidential suite, and I'll go and meet Sally over there, and then we can discuss a couple more details on what makes 12 Apostles so special.
Fantastic. And Sally, it's very like it's Cape Town. It's in the suburbs of Cape Town, but it's also very good for touring nearby, isn't it, in particular?
Yes, it is. So we're about 20 minutes drive from the waterfront. We have our own private shuttle that will take our guests to and from the waterfront on a complimentary basis. Wow. But what we find with our guests that stay for us, so the average length of stay at the 12 Apostles is between 4 to 6, 7, 8 nights, depending on how long your vacation time is. But we found that a lot of our guests that stay here, you know, the Constantia Winelands is a 15-minute drive from us. So it's literally, you turn left out the hotel, left again, and you're in this incredible, the start of the Cape Winelands, which is some of the oldest in the Cape. So we've got the Cape Winelands. We've got Hout Bay, which is just close to us, where you can go and do the Seal Island. 20 minutes to the waterfront, as I said, and you can do Robben Island, incredible restaurants. But of course, what we have found in Cape Town is that a lot of people are going to Camps Bay. So Camps Bay is about a 5-minute drive from the hotel, and there are some of the top restaurants in Cape Town there. So we really are well located. So far from the madding crowd, but not so far that you are completely isolated. And then, of course, this is the main drive from the hotel to go along Chapman's Peak and to Cape Point as well. So truly, from a day tour perspective, or if you're doing a self-drive, it's ideally located.
And also, a lot of people are sort of trending away from staying in like it used to be in the olden days, you stayed in the waterfront. But a lot of people are sort of, you know, they don't want that anymore. They want something different. They want to feel, you know, that they get a true sense of Cape Town and not just the inner city as such.
That's right. I think it's just we're not near a shopping center. And I think that's really, as Siobhan, as you said, you know, it's a more of an authentic experience, especially, you know, also with, we have a lot of families and couples, but, you know, when you've got families with kids, our backyard is this Table Mountain Nature Reserve. And if you've got kids, they can run and they can, you know, you don't have to worry about them running up and down corridors all the time. So we've got this incredible space with picnic spots up the mountain. And also we do our own walking trails all the way up the mountain as well, which is completely unique.
And I saw that a beautiful romantic picture of the picnic. And is it Stanley's Rock it's called?
Yes, it is. So I was there yesterday. We're doing a photo shoot at Stanley's Rock at the hotel at the moment. And we were at Stanley's Rock at 6 a.m. yesterday watching the sunrise. It is just remarkable, that view over Lion's Head and with Camps Bay in the background. So that is our backyard.
And how many bedrooms do you have there?
We have 70 rooms and suites in total. And so your entry-level rooms, we have about 3 categories, different categories of entry-level rooms, and then up to 1-bedroom suites as well. And then you can take, like, because you can isolate it. We have a lot of people that want to take 8 or 9 rooms, and we can put them in a block together. So you feel as if you've got your own private villa.
And it's also like, it's a small boutique hotel, really. So you've got that intimate feel. And you're part of the family as such.
Yeah, I think, you know, if anybody has ever stayed at a Red Carnation Hotel, one of our owners, Vicky Tollman, she did a webinar a number of years ago, and she said, it's what is the key to Red Carnation? And she said, she said, it is the people, the people, the people. And once you have stayed at a Red Carnation Hotel, you know that you have stayed because you have that same level of service, whether you're at Ashford Castle, whether you're at the Milestone Hotel in London, whether you're going to stay at the new 100 Princes Street in Edinburgh, which is about to open imminently, or the Oyster Box or Keyjoy, you feel this incredible Red Carnation hospitality. And I think that's really what is key.
And I think a lot of people nowadays have gone beyond just going on a vacation to see places. They want to feel and engage when they travel. So I always think when you remember the name of the person who served you breakfast or you remember them, that's a sign of a good property.
That's exactly right. And, I think that's really what the key is. We've actually just had an Irish guest stay with us. And she came when she checked out and she said, what really made my stay was Charlie.
Yeah, that's
Charlie at breakfast. And, that's what it is. Because if you don't have that, this is just bricks and mortar.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can have all the art and the beauty, but it's what the people make your guests' experience to be.
Definitely. Gio, did we have a video as well in addition to that?
And no, we didn't have a video for this property,
brilliant.
but I have a picture that you guys were talking about just so everyone can see there.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I have heard of people who've got married at the property and had small little weddings, but come back every year to celebrate their anniversary. So that's beautiful as well.
Quite right. I met someone in the car park yesterday. He and his wife were going to their car. Mark, I didn't tell you. He was going to their car and he said, I've got goosebumps as I'm talking to you. He said to the doorman, he said, we've just brought our 2 children to show them where we got married because we got married here 11 years ago. So isn't that remarkable?
And there's a German couple actually that got married at 12 Apostles. They got married on the 12th of the 12th, 2012.
Oh, wow.
And they've been coming to the hotel every year for the same anniversary from that day onwards. And it's amazing. We try and recreate what they had that evening, and we do a private dinner for them every time they come. So it's a bit of a thing for them.
Fantastic. And then also you can get a helicopter transfer there easily, can't you, as well? And if I remember correctly, it doesn't really break the bank. It's affordable. Well, affordable for people who have the money.
Well, it's very affordable. I mean, it's probably about not even $150 per person to fly for this little flip that goes from the hotel to the waterfront or vice versa. And it's one of those experiences that you have to do when you're in Cape Town. It's no ways around it.
Brilliant. So should we move on to Kishra now?
Yes.
By the way, since we're talking about helicopters, that's something I think if anyone's going to Botswana, it's something they should always do.
Yes.
It's a helicopter safari. It's amazing. Like going for the day with no doors on the helicopter. I think it's one of the best experiences you ever have in your lifetime. It's almost one of those bucket list adventures to do.
And I would even go as far as to say that the transfer that you get in from Maun into camp, you should rather do it in a helicopter than in a small fixed wing plane. The experience is so much better.
Yeah.
And you see so many more animals whilst you're flying low over the delta coming into the camps. It's definitely, and the price is marginally different, a couple of dollars difference. For me, that's definitely the best way to do it.
And it's a rock star arrival, isn't it? Quest, are you there? Quest is our lodge manager based at the lodge. Quest, are you able to hear us?
We can see, I can see him, but he's on mute.
Definitely.
Do you want a spotlight in there, Gio?
Definitely.
There's no camera.
I am here. And I'm happy to be part of this.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, we're...
Good evening, everybody. To some, good afternoon. Yes, I'm very happy to be part of this. And I'm talking to you from Krijira Safari Lodge in a beautiful library, air-conditioned, you name it. And I'm happy that we're going to share with the world the beauty of this magnificent place we call home.
Fantastic.
To others, it's work. To us, is home. We share it with our guests when they come. The beauty and excellence of service, amazing food offering that we have here, beautiful sunsets and
Game has been amazing in the past few weeks. Lions have brought their cubs into the lodge. Our guests here, if you get a chance, this is the place to come and see.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Quest.
And do we have a video, Jude, for us to look at before we hear about
We do
Hijra?
indeed. Let me share the video here.
I think it's a love story. I think it's a story of my parents and their legacy. Hijra came about because my parents wanted our guests to experience the African safari in a completely new space. So this is really an ode to my parents, an ode to our family, and a gift to the world to experience the African safari in a whole new space.
There's a huge difference between what it used to be to what it is now. Accommodation is just out of this world. The food offering, nothing like it.
Every guest that comes in, they tell us, we know that you are the multi-award-winning spa, and that has been amazing for us.
I find it a blessing actually to be here finally, because we hop from job to job. All those different employers don't really satisfy our needs. Until you come here, that's when you realize this is what I've been looking for the whole time. My past 19 years, this is what I was looking for.
This place is very unique in one of the areas in the Delta where it's pristine. There's nowhere quite like it.
We have created something very special, a legacy that will last in Africa for many years.
Wow, amazing. So Sally, tell us about Hijra.
So, look, for us, Hijra is our love letter to Africa. For those of you that have been to Botswana, you will have heard about Hijra, I am sure. So I've been very fortunate to have been to the old Hijra Safari Lodge and to the new Hijra Safari Lodge. This is a 12-suite lodge, and there are so many unique selling points about Hijra. First of all, the game experience, because that's really what you want to go on a safari. And this area of the Okavango Delta has changed dramatically over the last few years. I know that Quest, his signal is not great, but I know Quest will agree with me. There were a couple of things that happened in Hijra in 2017 in Botswana, actually. And in 2017, there was a very slight earthquake in Botswana. And the tectonic plates that run through the western edge of the Moremi Game Reserve shifted. And it meant that what happened was that the water, and because it used to be a completely wet camp, and water all year round. Now it's created this incredible seasonal water. And the other thing that also happened to Hijra in 2017, or in that region, is that there was a huge fire, and that burnt all the incredible papyrus beds that flanked on either side of these channels of water that run through the Okavango Delta. So we have completely transformed, Hijra has completely transformed to become this incredible combination lodge. And really, that's what people want, Siobhan, as you know. When you're going on a safari, what we have discovered is that people want variety. So we can offer 5 different experiences. 4 of them are year-round, and the 1 is seasonal. So boating is seasonal. Makoro, we can do all year round. walking safaris all year round, fly fishing all year round, and of course the ever important safari/game drives. So when your clients come to Keyjura, they have the opportunity to do 4 different activities on a daily basis year round, and 5 during the peak season, which we're going into now. And I think the other key to Keyjura Safari Lodge, which is unique in the Okavango Delta, is air conditioning. And for us, the air conditioning is an absolute game changer. So we are in the really hot months, which start from about October, November, December, January, even up to February. Our suites are fully air conditioned. In fact, they're not just fully air conditioned. They've got 3 separate air conditioning units in them. So you've got a lounge, a dining room and bed, a lounge and dining room, a bedroom and a bathroom. And you can control the air conditioning in all 3 of those sections. And I think that's the one other thing that of course sets us apart is the size of our suites and the fact that they are all individually decorated. And I think if you look at all the media and if you follow us on social media, this is the Tollman's love letter to Africa. But I think what we did is we wanted to pay tribute to all the African artists that we have all the way from Morocco all the way down to South Africa. So this is the single biggest privately owned African art collection in the world at Keyjura Safari Lodge. And this is something that we are exceptionally proud of. So you've got food, which is out of this world. You've got your safari and game experiences, which are second to none. And then you've got this incredible spa and, of course, the art that goes hand in hand. So that's why it encourages a longer stay at Keyjura.
And also you can see where you like the member of the team there said after 19 years, you know, he's found the perfect place to work. I told you this story before that I was staying there, and I am partial the odd time to vodka martini. And when I asked for it, they said no, and I was thinking no, and then they suggested that I try their special martini, which is made from Monkey 47 gin. And they said, if you don't like it, that's fine. We'll make your vodka martini, but you have to try it. And it was amazing. But the other thing is, I remembered that the person who looked after me for breakfast remembered how I liked it the first day. So when I ordered the second day, they actually had taken note without me having to mention it again. I think that sets, you know, properties apart. Like I know Ashford, you know, they have an amazing team despite being one of and voted the top hotel in the world, you know, a few years ago. So Keisha, I think, well, all the properties are like that, because I think the one thing that, you know, Red Carnation and the Tollman family subscribe to is respect for people, whether it's the clients or the team. So all of your, you know, your teams and all the properties are so committed to making sure it's the most exquisite experience for the client when they're visiting. Now, I know it is an expensive property in a sense of it's an amazing property, but there are special rates at certain times of the year that people, you know, can do. So it is like, it's an, oops, my phone is going there, but it's an amazing property to stay in, but like you do have those special rates. So can you tell us about the time of the year that you would recommend for people who maybe think they couldn't afford it, but in fact can find out they can?
So for us, you know, the obviously peak season is when the waters come in. The flood waters, Quest sent us all a message yesterday to say that the flood waters were 875 meters away from the lodge. I'd love to know where they are now, Quest. So, but that's peak season. So from May, June, July, August, and September, that is when the flood waters come in. But for me, this is out of that season. Apart from our specials, so we've got outside of peak season, we have a stay 4, pay 3. We also have, if you stay for 3 nights, we include the flights to and from the lodge from Maun. But, you know, for me, the best part of the year, and I know Quest will agree with me, is the first 2 weeks of December. And the reason for me is the first 2 weeks of December, it's at this time that the huge elephant herds have come back, because in August every year, right up until the end of December, the lala palms have started fruiting, and they have this long trek from the Chobe area into the Okavango Delta to eat the lala palm fruit. And also it is the time when all the antelope species are dropping their young. And of course, once all the young is once they start dropping their young, it attracts the predators. So for us, whilst we do have an incredible resident pride of, I think Quest told us there were 18 lions in one of our prides yesterday or the day before. We've got 2 separate prides of lion. That for me is the secret season, and it is called the green season. But for me, that between December. Quest, do you agree with me? Shame, I know his Wi-Fi is so sketchy at the moment. Mike, what do you think?
Get him to unmute.
I definitely agree with that. That's a good time for visiting. Obviously, the rates also are really good at that time. And I think there's this misconception that it's not the best time of the year to come, even before the floods come in. So now we're talking January, February, March. It might be warmer and might be drier, but that brings a whole lot of different aspects of Kidra back for people to experience, and obviously at a much better rate. So there's always something for our guests to enjoy. Quest, are you on?
Definitely, Mike. I can't agree with you more. It's a secret season that a lot of travel agents are not selling. But believe you me, here in Kidra, that season that is normally called the green season, it's as amazing as the peak season. Yeah. We have got no reason not to visit Kidra at any time of the year. Like Sally mentioned, our air conditioning is the best in the Delta. Nowhere else you get this. So during the hot months, you can go kill yourself in a beautiful suite. We leave early in the morning for the game drive. When it starts getting hot, you come back into the lodge. And late in the evening, you go out on the drive and you come back. And those are the times when game activity is at its peak, when it's cool enough. And therefore, during the day, there isn't much happening out there. We can spend time in the lodge. Right now, we're going into our peak season. And believe you me, the game is scattered all over the lodge. Even us, every time we walk to our different suites, we can't walk one by one. We walk in pairs because from one corner to the other, there's a lioness with 4 cubs. On the other side of the lodge, there's a lioness with 4 cubs. And right now, the guides were running out to quickly go look at a cheetah out there in the concession. And one of the beautiful things about Kidra that guests love is our cocktails. We do amazing cocktails in the bar and out in the plains. The sundowners, it's just amazing. We have got a baobab tree house that is just less than a kilometer of the lodge here, where guests can choose to sleep out there. Beautiful skies, especially as we go into the our winter season now, when there is little or no clouds at all. Those who like the stars, that's perfect time to do it. And what more can I talk about Kidra? Tonight is one of those nights where we are going to be having the Boma.
Oh, yes.
Boma night. You know, it's all about the generous offering of the Red Carnation culture, where there is almost everything that we can serve our guests, we put on display tonight so that they can eat and celebrate culture, celebrate the beauty of meeting people. We believe that in as much as people come to see animals and to see the wildlife, they also want to meet the people, to chat to the people, to learn about us. And today is one of those days that when our guests are here, we make sure that at least before they leave, they also have that an opportunity to learn about our culture and our economy. So we sit down and we teach them tonight as well.
You're mentioning, people staying, 3 or 4 nights, etc. But the thing is, you also did a chef's table when I was there, sort of that you cook in front of the client, which is nice. It's sort of an informal dinner, yet intimate, and you meet the other, people who are staying, etc., etc. So that was really, really good as well. Can I ask you, Sally and Michael in particular, if you were combining it with another, do you need to combine it with another property? So if people are doing that whirlwind tour of Africa where they want to get the highlights, they could do you as their, their stay in Botswana. But if they were doing, say, Botswana on its own or Botswana with only one other, Is there like an area, if you don't want to mention a particular property, that you think it would be good fit with? Or do you think because of the change in the weather pattern, as you said, that you don't have, like you can have water and dry at the same time, that you need a second property? What do you recommend if people are planning an itinerary?
Look, we're very happy to, we work so well with all the properties in Botswana, but our main feeder market for Kidra, and just remember always to put Kidra at the end because that's also hugely important. But Jack's Camp is a very big feeder market, and that gives you two completely different areas of Botswana as well. So you've got this incredible desert-like experience in the south of the country, and then you've got Kidra in the Okavango Delta. But a lot of our feeder market also comes from other camps further east of Kidra. So we have a lot of people coming in from Zarafa, for example. We have a lot of people combining with Mambo as well. So but what we have found is that, in the old days when I used to sell Botswana 30 years ago or 35 years ago, people always used to go, and Quest will also, I'm sure, agree, they used to go for 3 different camps. They'll do 2 nights here, 2 nights there, and 2 nights at another camp. And that has changed. What we have found is that Quest raised it, actually, is that the people, our guests, want to stay longer in a lodge because they want to get to know the staff and they want to get to know the staff stories. So what we have found is that a lot of our guests will stay at 2 camps and then they'll do 3 nights at one or 4 nights at another. So they'll do a combination of it. So on the very odd occasion where we have got guests that can extend to 3 camps, they'll do 3-3-3 or a combination of that. So that's really what we have found.
And so what you're saying as well is clients are sort of like limiting their experience if they hop too much, because you spend a day traveling from property to property and getting to know the property. So there's nothing better than feeling at home whilst you're away from home. So by spending longer in the properties, and especially, taking advantage of the thing like the 4 for 3 or whatever as well. And when you're talking about animals as well and seasons, I always say to people, the animals don't go away on vacation. They're always there.
Yeah.
So just because it's our peak season doesn't mean it's a peak season for the animals. You know what I mean? So, every time there's something different to be experienced in Africa at every day of the year. And even when it does rain, a lot of places it doesn't rain heavily or there's a quick burst and you can still go out for a game drive. You can still have experiences. So just because it might be, the green or the wet season, whatever, it doesn't take away from the experience that you're going to have.
That's right. And I think, this phenomena, and Quest is nodding his head because, what, Quest, you will have, I'm sure, agree that with this incredible change since 2017, our game is really steady. Don't you agree, Quest? You live and breathe
It's more than steady. It's more than steady, Sally. We've seen it grow from day to day. We've seen the lion prides increasing every day. We used to,
Wild dog.
The last time you were here, Sally, we had the Western and the Eastern pride. Now we've got the 4 ladies from the South. We've got 4 young boys that are visible again on the eastern fringes of our concession. They are coming in from time to time. So our numbers are increasing every day. We're waiting, to see what is going to happen throughout this year with all these numbers of lions in this small area. One guest was commenting today saying, Quest, we hardly drove 3 kilometers off the lodge today. What else is there beyond the 3 kilometers? I said, the same animals you see here, if you extend, you're going to see more lions. You're going to see more different leopards on the other end. So this place is it's amazing. I've worked around the lodges in the Delta, but this is different.
Yeah. No, it's a property that everyone, I think, puts on a pedestal.
Thank you.
Like everyone, your competitors as well recognize it as being, the sublime property sort of in Botswana, which is great.
Yeah. So I just, Siobhan, someone has asked whether whether you can see the big 5. And that's no, you can't see the big 5 at Kidra. The one animal that is really very elusive in Botswana is.
You've gone mute there, Sally. You're still mute. Um,
We've just lost you there.
yeah.
The sound is there.
Okay, so
not...
basically just to take over
Yeah.
from Sally. Yeah, and in the Delta, you in the Kajira, you will not see the big five, but you will most likely see the big four. Rhino is very scarce to come about in this area.
But Quest, to be honest, do you not think people have got a thing in their heads for no reason about the big five? Like for me, you know, whether I see a buffalo or a wild dog, you know, cheetahs, like they're just as good as the big five. Do you know what I mean? Like it's people have got this
That's
big thing in
correct.
their heads, big five for no reason. Like there's far better things even to see, like to see a sable, to see, you know, the wild dog, to see cheetahs. Like these are all amazing animals. Or even like the lechwe, to see a lechwe for the first time and the way it jumps, you know, that is a pure joy.
Or even I went once on small five quest, so we were looking at little bugs and lion ants and things like this, and it was even more amazing, you know, looking at the little ones than to look at the big ones.
That's correct. You know, the big five is a terminology that was developed during the peak of the hunting time, where the hunters were looking for the strong, the powerful, you know, the ones that could take you down, the fearless, and in photography, photographic safari, we're looking at beauty, we're looking at the purpose of life, we are looking at, you know, the survivors. We're not only looking at something that is going to hunt you down. We're looking at something that, you know, exists and changes life behind the scenes and make life what it is. And without them, life may not be what it is. So we move away from the notion of hunting, but go into preserving life and prolonging life. That's why we not much into the big five theory, although we see a lot of those, but we're not really fussy about them.
And you have lots of wild dog in Botswana, don't you?
We have wild dog denning, don't we, Quest?
Yes, we just discovered a new den just south of the lodge here, and we're checking it every day. We think maybe in the next few days or weeks we might have pups. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have around.
So for people who've
and then
maybe
there's
been
another
to
big
Kenya
pack that comes and goes
and have seen, you know, the other animals, like Botswana is a beautiful next destination because it offers animals that you won't find elsewhere. So should we go on to the oyster box, even though I don't want to leave Quest and all the information he's given us?
Yes, absolutely. Do you want to show the video first of the oyster box?
Yes, I can get that on. Just 1 second. Oh, just give me a second if you guys just talk away, because I've got to. I'm just going to get there. I had
Sally,
the wrong
do you want
one.
to tell us a little bit about the oyster box and how you can fit it
Yes.
into an itinerary as well, or whether it should be considered a standalone or how best to sell it?
So the oyster box, to fit it into an itinerary, what we have found is that most of our guests include the oyster box at the end of an itinerary. And it's normally after a safari, because for any of you that have done a safari, you will know that it's an early morning and a late night. So at the end of the safari, they ended off at the beach. So the oyster box is in a village in KwaZulu-Natal, which is on the east coast of South Africa. And we are right on the Indian Ocean. So for the hotel, that when people see it, if you've seen Faina in Miami or that sort of, it's got that sort of atmosphere around it. Right on the beach, beautiful red and white colors, incredible seafood, beautiful views of the Indian Ocean. And the history behind the oyster box is in South Africa. Obviously, we're owned by the Tollman family. It is where our founders and owners, Mr. and Mrs. Tollman, had their first date. And he took her to a horse race in Durban. They had dinner at the hotel. And he proposed to her, and he, you know, part of the story is he said, "You're so wonderful and beautiful. What can I buy you?" And she said, "I would like this hotel." So for their 50th wedding anniversary, he bought her the oyster box.
Wow.
And They turned it from a 2-star hotel to this incredible 5-star luxurious hotel, and it really is the jewel in the crown from a South African 5-star hotel perspective.
I've got the video ready. Shall we show it, Sally?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many days, Sally, you can tell us when we come back, how many days do you think we should spend there as well?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And what's good as well regarding the situation is flying from Durban is actually a quicker route if you're going back to the States or going back to Europe. So as you said, having it at the end facilitates that long journey home.
Especially if you're on Emirates Airlines, Turkish Airlines. There are direct flights out of Durban as well via Dubai and Istanbul, and also on Qatar as well. So those are direct flights into and out of Durban. And I think to answer your question, Siobhan, the average length of stay of people from overseas coming into Durban is normally from 2 nights up to about 8 or 9 nights, depending on the itinerary, obviously. And a little hint that I can give you at the Oyster Box is don't include day tours for your clients, because once this hotel is just remarkable, I have to tell you. Once they see the hotel, they just don't want to leave. So the area, the public areas and the swimming pool and the views, especially if they're there for 2 nights or 3 nights, they really want to spend as much time at the hotel as possible. And again, this goes back to our original discussion about what is the secret to Red Carnation and the Oyster Box's success, and it is the staff. That is what makes that experience so incredible.
Fantastic. And if they do day tours, you do have the battlefields. How many, like, how long are they away?
That's a long drive, Siobhan.
It's a long drive.
About 4 hours, 8 hours return.
Yeah,
4
so
hours
too much.
4 hours back. Yeah, it's for me, it's just too long because you're up at 5 in the morning and you don't get back before 8 p.m. So it is a long day.
And you used to do a partnership with Pinda. Is that still there?
Yes, absolutely. So Pinda Private Game Lodge is one of our huge feeder markets. We work very closely with And Beyond. And there are a number of private lodges, and I think that's also key. So, it's not just always the Kruger National Park and the Sabi Sands. From 3 hours from Durban or from the Oyster Box, you have the Big Five, which is in Pinda or Tanda. There are a number of lodges in that area as well. You've got 3 hours drive, which is the Drakensberg mountain range, which is also a heritage site. And then 3 hours also, you've got the Turtles, which are right on the beach up to near the Mozambique border. And also keep your eye out. Here, you've heard it from us, is that Natural Selection are opening up an incredible lodge south of the Oyster Box, and it's called Gwegwe Lodge, Gwe GWE. So we're about to put a package together with them as well. It's about to open just over in Durban in May.
And I think, like, one thing I think about Africa is a lot of people are sort of scared in the sense of they don't get involved in itineraries as much as they would say if people were coming to Europe. I think travel advisors need to get more involved in their itinerary and not let their DMC or the tour operator just give them an itinerary. Like, I think, you know, sometimes how we started doing it ourselves, we found a lot of the times, you know, you're dealing with a big company and they're sort of promoting their own properties, or they're doing the same itinerary, whether it's a couple in their 70s or a honeymoon couple. So I think what is very important is get to know the properties and then, you know, try and make sure, like, for example, now that people will be more aware of the Red Carnation properties, that when they're talking to their DMCs or their tour operators, to make sure they include the properties.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's it. And, you know, we also work really closely with travel advisors. So even though the travel advisors book via a tour operator or a DMC, we do have a lot of travel advisors that come through to us directly to say, this is who I'm booking with, but have you got any tips? Can you suggest anything? And we love to work like that because we work with the DMCs, tour operators, and the travel advisors to help create this incredible experience. Because what we really want for the travel advisors and us are return guests.
Yeah.
So if we work together, that's how teamwork is how we make this all come together.
And that's why I think it's very important. Like, I always ask properties, like I was just asking today, what properties are a good fit with yourselves as a combination? Because that way, like, you don't need to just sell the property. You need to learn how to sell it as an itinerary that works.
As part of an itinerary, exactly.
Yeah, and that is seamless.
Exactly.
So we don't keep people too long, but we have one other property, and one that I experienced recently, and I was absolutely blown away, Bushman's Kloof. Oh, sorry, Gio, did we have 2 videos for Oyster Box?
We have a second one. Just give it another idea. Just one
Sorry,
second.
Sally, yeah?
I was just going to say, if time is a challenge, then you don't have to play the second one.
Okay,
if you
will we jump straight into the walkthrough? Because I've got that ready.
Okay.
Or what we could do is play the second Oyster Box video at the very end if people have to leave. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll do that. So this.
Beautiful. So, Sally, tell us about Bushman's Kloof.
Oh, did we lose Sally?
Don't think so. Maybe she'll come back. So just while you're waiting for Sally to come back, I stayed there last year and I found it's like a refuge or a retreat. And what I didn't know about was the amount of walks. So all these sort of like self-guided walks that you can do, and they can be of varying distances, but it's absolutely fantastic. The food is amazing. Like, you sort of left and you felt that you were friends with the people who looked after you. Like, I remember the guide's name, Hannah, the girl who looked after me for breakfast, the people who looked after me at dinner time. The walks are amazing. I would say be perfect for a couple who want to spend time together. If someone was, wanted to spend time by themselves or reconnect with friends or families, etc. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to stay. Sally is there again, but she is mute, I think.
Yes, I've asked to unmute. Maybe they're having some technical difficulties.
So But it was an amazing place to stay. Really, really good. And a different style to the others, which is nice as well. And it's sort of what a property you would describe as a hidden gem. But I came back and I don't know if I think I spent 2 nights there, could have been 3, but I felt like I was there for a week. It was so relaxing. So did we get Sally back there, Jill?
No, she seems to have dropped out now. Maybe they're having some technical difficulties.
I'd say she'll be back in a second. Do you want to show the other video in the meantime?
Video. Yeah, if you just
For
give me
Oyster
a second, I'll get it.
Yeah. And then we'll wait for Sally to come in and tell us about Bushman's Kloof. But it's worth waiting for because it is an amazing property. And as I said, not many clients know about it. So if you're offering it to your clients, they will feel that you really know Africa well in order to know about Bushman's Kloof. It's sort of one of those properties hidden away. And don't forget the Tollmans also own a vineyard. So when you stay in their properties, you'll have a great experience, a great wine experience when you're staying there as well.
Perfect. I've got the video ready. So it's just a second one of the oyster box to give an idea.
And then if Sally's on, she can tell us when she's back.
Yeah.
That's perfect timing. I just saw Sally is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we haven't lost anyone, which is great. Sally, are you there? Just making sure she's...
There we are. See you again.
We're back.
Hi, how are you? So we took the opportunity. I told them a bit about my stay, and we took the opportunity to show the other video. So you can tell, I mean, no one left, which is great. You can tell us about Bushman's Kloof now.
So as you've been there, so the drive is actually a really beautiful drive. So 3.5 hours from Cape Town with this beautiful drive over those mountains to get into Bushman's Kloof. And once you get, and Siobhan, you'll remember this, once you get over that last mountain pass, it kind of looks like you've arrived in Mars with all the red rock formations all around you. And as you go into Bushman's Kloof itself, it's like this little sanctuary in the middle of pretty much nowhere, which is what Bushman's Kloof is really all about. One of the key things for Bushman's Kloof, obviously, is all the rock art that we have. You know, some of the Bushman paintings that we have there are over 10,000 years old.
Wow.
And
that's double the age of the pyramids, isn't it?
Pretty much, yes, absolutely. And what we've just had is we've had someone come and take infrared photos of all the art in some of the areas that we have. And we've now discovered, actually, which we haven't shared with anybody yet, we've discovered that there are actually more paintings that have disappeared from the naked eye. You can't see them, but actually they are there, and you can only see them with the special camera. And so now some of the stories that we had in the past of, you know, the meanings behind some of these paintings that's the Bushman had drawn on the rocks, some of them actually has changed now. You know, there's even one where we can see that there's a rhino on one of the pictures that we've never seen before. So that's a big thing about Bushman's Kloof. It's also for people to come and relax and just rejuvenate. That is what Bushman's Kloof is all about. We don't have, although we have game on the property itself, plains game, there's no predators there. So doing activities within the reserve is really good. So either hiking up the mountains, a couple of trails, doing mountain biking.
I remember one of them was called the Desi Trail. We've lost them again. Well, just while they're coming back there was also a villa as part of the property. So there's a private villa that clients could use. So there are various options there for families as well. And because, as Michael mentioned, there is no predators, it is very family friendly. So I would say if you thought of a third generation get together vacation, you know, it would be an ideal property for it. Maybe combining it with Cape Town, or because you sort of really have to, because you're going up to the eastern side, western side, you have to, you know, you'd have to access it from somewhere else. But you can also, if I remember correctly, get a helicopter in there as well. So, Gio, do we lose Sally again?
Yeah, I think they've dropped.
Okay.
Just having some connectivity issues there.
Well, I think they covered most of the points. Should we stay on for a minute or two just in case they come back, and if not, wrap it up?
Yes.
So just because we had a shorter time at Bushman's Kloof, very much sort of as they mentioned, as a sanctuary retreat, was, you know, a refuge, beautiful, quiet. They have those historical, like those sort of guided walks in the morning, whereby you see the cave paintings, but there are those other walks of varying distances that you can do yourself. There was 2 standalone units that I remember beside the main house, and then there was also that larger property that was a little bit away, and they had their own private vehicles, etc. So again, perfect for whether individuals, a group of friends, a few couples, or 3-generation family get-togethers. And again, I would say minimum 3 days, because you do have to go by car there, or I think helicopter. There, like, it's you access it that way, so you do need to bear that in mind as well. So I would say have a longer stay there. So unless Quest knows much about Bushman's Kloof, how you could combine it. Oh, there's
Sally's
Sally
just
again.
back.
Oops.
Yeah. Sally.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, sorry about that.
Don't worry. So do you want to tell us about how you would combine it, or how you would sell it, or include it in an itinerary? How best to suggest to clients in an itinerary?
Yeah, the best that we found that works really well for our guests is it combines really nice with 12 Apostles. So start with 12 Apostles, then go up to Paternoster, which is about 2.5 hours drive up the west coast. 2 nights in Paternoster, and there's a hotel called the Strandloper, which is a really nice hotel.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, well, like Strand.
Okay.
And then Loper.
Perfect. Okay.
Right. So that's a really nice option. 2.5 hours out. And then from there to go to Bushman's Kloof, 3 nights. I would say Bushman's Kloof is a really good time. And then from there, go to the Winelands. Now go Franschhoek or Stellenbosch. 2 or 3 nights in the Winelands, and then you're close to the airport again. So that's a really nice itinerary to work with.
And it's more sort of a quieter, enjoyable, more leisurely, isn't it, than a fast-paced safari?
Quite right. And I would recommend that is probably what we found is probably the 2nd or 3rd time traveler to South Africa would do that kind of itinerary. So they've got the safari, big cats and big 5 kind of out of their system, and they're looking for something a lot more leisurely, you know, wanting to do a bit more food.
Can you just confirm, for sort of multi-gen, you have that private property that has its own vehicles that's a bit further away, but then you have 2 sort of houses beside the property as well. So can you just tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so the first one is Coro Lodge. It can sleep up to 10. So 4 adults or 6 adults, or for 4 adults and 4 kids. So 8 is really comfortable, but it's got its own guide, own chef, So it's kind of separate from the lodge. You can go to the lodge if you want to, but it's kind of separate, and it takes children of all ages. So that's really nice for family travel. And then close to the lodge, we have Cedarburg House. That's a 2-bedroom villa. And, you know, so that's then closer to the lodge itself. It's all included, the food and the drinks. Whereas at the main lodge itself, it would just be the food, and the drinks would be separate. So that's the two options. The Cedarburg House is more for clearly for adults and couples traveling together. That works really well at Cedarburg House.
And then last but not least, you also have that wonderful dining experience that you do sort of in, I don't know what you call it. We almost like a fisherman's buffet, but it's not beside the sea. So I don't know what you call it.
So there's two things that happen at Bushman's Kloof. One is our extraordinary dining experiences. So Kadora, which is our little shepherd's cottage, which is about half an hour's drive from the main lodge. Everything done on the fire and everything done by candlelight.
Wow.
So that's a really romantic kind of experience. And then the other one that we do is pretty much like we do in the safari lodges, a Boma dinner, which we do at Embers, which is under the stars, similar concept to a Boma dinner. So that's two really very different experiences.
Fantastic. So thank you very much. And thank you very much for telling everyone about what, you know, the portfolio in Africa includes. It was really interesting, and especially, you know, sometimes, you know, people don't know everything that Red Carnation do. So that was fantastic. So we did have 327 people registered. We'll be sending out the emails too. I know Joni said that she hadn't registered, so she's sending her email and sending it out to the team. So if any of you want a copy of the recording to the team, we'd be happy to do that as well. So just send an email into Giovanna at book@adamsandbutler.com. And until the next webinar, thank you very, very much. And hopefully we can do the UK properties again at a future occasion. Thanks a million, Sally. Thanks a million, Michael.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Jim.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.